nice and easily. It's what we like to sing at in this case when it comes to our sound. So a nice analogy is wine glass. So if you have a wine glass, take your finger nice and wet, rub the top of the wine glass, that note you hear from it is its resonance frequency. And what vocalists would do is that they would flick that wine glass first, listen for that note, and then match that note at the same exact frequency that they're hearing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the shape of our plate. So we're going to go to a square now. Now, what's going to happen between the circle and square? What do you think is going to be different?
It's going to be square.
You think it's going to be a square?
I hope so.
We'll find out.
Let's find out. Let's go to.
That's why we do science to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's very fascinating.
No, wrong frequency. 360.
Whoa.
There we go. That's what I'm
Kind of cool.
So, sadly, we don't get a square. However, we're getting something actually very similar to this at first. So, when it comes to our first layer here, we're having our circle.
Yeah.
But as we're moving outwards, what's the big difference between a circle and a square? The distance from our center.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, with a square, we're having a smaller distance here, and then the diagonal has a much longer distance. So the nodes we're seeing, just like our rope, are actually getting distorted because of the fact that we're moving in a two-dimensional direction now, instead of going in a straight line. So when I increase this, we're going to see a little more distortion at 500. So the other thing I want you to notice, just like our string, is that as I increase energy, the circle in the center here is smaller, right? As we increase the frequency, the wavelength that we're seeing is getting tighter. So the sand pattern is now getting smaller throughout it, and now we're getting a nice more distortions as it gets more compact. And then as we get to our next frequency, 1820, you will actually see and now we're actually having a distortion at the edges here. So it's moving throughout the same as moving through this plate, coming through the same distance with our first two circles, and then at our corners or our edges, we're starting to get a distortion of our nodes moving in and out. Any questions?
Very interesting. Now
Appreciate it.